Well, I have to give credit where credit is due. At least Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is honestly radical, because she might be the one Democrat who voted against reopening the government. In reality, all of the Democrats, including Nancy Pelosi, voted against reopening the government when they voted for a funding bill that does not include $5 billion for border security. This is very simple. President Trump has said we need border security. I'm not asking for a lot of money. The whole federal budget is going to be $4.4 trillion. You've already voted for fences and walls along the border. Chuck Schumer, Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama all voted for it. Give us just a little bit of that. Every other Democrat wants to pretend that they want border security, but for some reason they don't want the border wall, which is not terribly expensive. It's obviously moral. It obviously works. Where it's been implemented, it's reduced illegal crossings up by upwards of 90%. What Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is saying is, nope, I don't want any of that, and the reason I don't want that is because I want to abolish immigration enforcement. That's a radical agenda. Democrats played with it all throughout the midterms. They backed off of it when it seemed unpopular, but at least the socialist from New York is giving us an honest debate.
Let me ask you something, though. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, no matter what you think of her, no matter what you think of her policies, she is popular. People listen to her, especially people in the younger generation. What do you make of the fact that she has this microphone, and it seems like a lot of young people are willing to listen?
That's right. She, unfortunately, her generation and my generation, overwhelmingly now, the majority of us identify as socialist. The good news is that a very small minority of us can actually define what socialism is, so there is some hope possibly for the future. She's an attractive candidate. She's compelling. She's a lot better on television than Bernie Sanders. She's even a little easier on the ears. Her proposals are economically incoherent. She can't give any explanation for them. It's impossible to defend how you want to have a nation, but you don't want to be able to protect the borders of that nation. That's the primary function of government, is to protect its people and to protect its integrity and its sovereignty. Yeah. She can't give any explanations for that, but she comes from a shallow generation. We live in a shallow age of politics, and she's doing a lot better job at this than Nancy Pelosi and her fellow Democrats.
Well, back to ICE for a second. You know, there's still this belief out there that ICE is primarily just raiding homes of hardworking illegal immigrants and just throwing them out of the country. The fact is that that's not the priority, that they're typically going after people that are committing crimes. And a lot of the crimes that they're preventing are crimes in these communities, like Ocasio-Cortez's district in the Bronx, which is a heavily immigrant community. Does she just ignore that?
You're telling me you could go through a whole list of the victims of people who come here illegally, but what she's talking about is really a broader principle. She's targeting immigration enforcement as an agency, and really she's targeting immigration enforcement as a principle. Do we have the right to be a country or not? Do we have a right as a people to say we don't want certain people to come in here, we don't want certain people to access our very generous welfare and entitlement system, we don't want certain people to come in here and vote and change our laws, and especially at a time when the left in this country is discouraging assimilation? Do we have that right or not? Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is going out there and saying, absolutely, we do not. And that's the debate that we're going to have.
Let's talk about Kamala Harris here for a minute. Officially running for president for 2020. She made that announcement earlier this week. Do you think she's going to be able to get the votes?
Well, I think at this point I'm going to declare that I'm running in the 2020 Democrat primary field. I think I'm the only person in the country who isn't running. She has a bad strategy at the moment, which is to hire all of Hillary Clinton's former campaign team. I wonder if Walter Mondale's team or Wendell Willkie's team were not available. Doesn't make a lot of sense to hire losers to staff your campaign. Right now, Kamala Harris is coming out of the gate, and she's running heavily on identity politics. She declared on Martin Luther King Day she is adopting Oakland as her hometown, even though she grew up from the age of 7 to the age of 18 in Canada. Yeah. She's constantly talking how she went to an historically black college. She had that mood mix video where she's dancing along to Funkadelic and young, black, and gifted.
You got maybe 40 of them running, and I mean the race to the left for the primary is just going to be hysterical. I mean they're going to go so far left they're going to fall over the edge. Michael, thank you so much for your time. We do appreciate it.
Good to see you.